I want to start today by putting a really specific image in your head. It's right from the opening case study in our source material.
Oh yeah, the glass office setup.
Exactly. Picture this modern founder's office, right? Lots of glass, incredible view. And on the wall, there is this massive monitor displaying a live analytics dashboard.
Mm-hmm.
And right in the center, glowing in neon green, is just a single number, 1.2 million impressions.
It's the metric everyone wants. It's the classic "we made it" number.
Right. You look at that and you think, okay, champagne time. 1.2 million people saw us. But then the source, they basically pull the rug out immediately.
Yeah, they do.
They walk us through the rest of that dashboard and the revenue. Flat as a pancake. The sales pipeline is totally thin. Cash flow is terrifyingly tight. So that 1.2 million, it represented this massive amount of applause, but absolutely zero income.
And that disconnect, that exact gap between the applause and the actual bank account is the core conflict we are diving into today.
Right.
Because we are in this moment where, artificial intelligence is just exploding. Every C-suite leader is rushing to deploy it. But the research we're looking at issues a very specific warning.
And it's a harsh one.
It really is. It basically says if you apply AI to the wrong metrics, you aren't building a business. You're building a trap.
A trap. I mean, that feels a bit dramatic for software, doesn't it? Usually we hear AI described as a tool or a co-pilot. How exactly does it become a trap?
It becomes a trap when it accelerates the wrong things.
The
source puts it brilliantly, I think. They say AI applied to vanity metrics simply accelerates distraction.
Wow. Accelerates distraction.
Yeah, it just helps you run in the wrong direction faster.
Yeah.
Think about it. If you have a bad strategy and you add automation, you don't magically get a good strategy.
Right. You get a bad strategy at scale.
Exactly. But if you align AI to revenue operations or RevOps, it stops being this noise machine and it becomes a margin multiplier.
Okay. Margin multiplier versus accelerated distraction. I really like that framework. So our mission for this deep dive is to figure out how to stop using AI to feed the ego with these big empty numbers and how to start using it to engineer a predictable, profitable business.
Right. We're moving from content generation to actual revenue engineering.
Stripping away the hype to look at the actual mechanics of the money. But look, I have to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Go for it.
Why is the source so incredibly hard on metrics like impressions and views? I mean, in marketing, don't you need attention before you can even get a sale? It feels a bit harsh to dismiss all of that entirely as just vanity.
Well, it's not that they're useless. It's that they are seductive.
Seductive, okay.
Right. The source calls them vanity metrics because they make you feel really good without necessarily doing good for the bottom line. We're talking about followers, likes, engagement rates.
Your dopamine hits.
Exactly. And the problem is that the current generation of AI tools, the LLMs, the image generators, they are naturally optimized for this. They are built from the ground up to grab attention.
Right. It's that content factory model. Like, write me 50 tweets, generate 10 blog posts by noon. It feels productive because you can literally see the output piling up.
You see the activity, so you just assume value. But here is the key takeaway from the research. Growth without revenue integrity is fragile.
Growth without revenue integrity.
Yes. You can use AI to build an audience of 1 million people in 6 months. But if that audience isn't made up of qualified buyers, or if you don't have a mechanism to actually capture value from them, you haven't built a company.
You've just built a broadcasting station that nobody pays for.
Perfectly said.
That distinction, that growth without revenue integrity is fragile, it's heavy. It sounds exactly like the dot-com bubble logic all over again. Eyeballs first, business model later.
It is very similar. And if you look at it from an executive perspective, if I'm a CEO, I don't need an AI that acts like a hyper-caffeinated intern just churning out noise.
Yeah.
I need a system that predicts and generates cash. The uncomfortable truth the source highlights is that for a lot of companies right now, AI is keeping them incredibly busy, but it's not making them profitable. It's what they call action faking.
Action faking. I am absolutely stealing that. Okay, so if we stop action faking and we start revenue engineering, what does that actually look like on the ground? The source introduces AI as a margin optimizer, which sounds like heavy finance speak. What does it mean in practice?
It means shifting the prompt entirely. Instead of asking how much content can our AI create, we have to ask how can AI impact our financial levers?
Okay.
The source outlines 5 specific revenue levers where AI is supposed to be doing the heavy lifting. And to be clear, these aren't marketing goals, they are financial outcomes.
Let's walk through these 5, because I really think this is the meat of the argument. This moves us from the abstract theory to, what do I actually tell my team to do on Monday morning?
Right.
So the first lever they list is increasing conversion rate. Now, traditionally, increasing conversion just means changing the color of a buy now button or A/B testing a headline. How does AI actually change the game here?
It changes it by moving from cosmetic changes to intent analysis.
Intent analysis.
Yeah. Think about your website traffic. You might have 1,000 visitors today. To a human, they are just numbers. To a standard analytics tool, they are just sessions. But AI can analyze the behavioral data of those 1,000 people in real time.
What kind of data are we talking about specifically?
It's looking at digital body language.
Yeah.
So let's say person A visited the pricing page, downloaded a really dense technical white paper, and spent time looking at your API documentation.
Okay, they're doing their homework.
Right. But person B just read one generic blog post about industry trends in 2026 and then bounced.
Happens all the time.
Exactly. AI scores these leads based on intent, not just activity. It looks at that data and says to the sales team, call person A immediately. Do not waste a single second on person B.
So it's essentially a digital bouncer. It decides who gets the VIP treatment and who just waits in line outside.
Precisely. It's lead prioritization. By focusing your expensive human sales talent only on the leads with high purchase intent, your conversion rate naturally spikes. You just stop chasing tire kickers.
That makes a lot of sense. It's pure efficiency.
Okay.
Okay, lever number 2 is reduce customer acquisition cost, or CAC. This is huge because ad platforms are getting incredibly expensive. Facebook ads aren't cheap anymore. LinkedIn is basically a fortune.
They are a fortune. And the absolute fastest way to burn cash is to show those expensive ads to people who will never, ever buy your product.
Right.
So the source explains that AI reduces CAC by identifying high-performing segments and cloning them.
Cloning them. Okay, that sounds a bit sci-fi. Unpack that for us.
It's about lookalike modeling, but strictly optimized for revenue. Most companies go to an ad platform and say, find me people who like technology.
Which is way too broad.
Way too broad. AI looks at your historical data and says, wait, your most profitable customers, the ones who actually stay for 3 years and pay their invoices on time, they share these 50 micro traits.
Oh, wow. 50 traits.
Yeah, maybe they use a specific tech stack, maybe they are in a specific revenue band, maybe they even cluster in a specific zip code.
So it's not just who clicked the ad, it's who actually generated profit for the business.
Exactly. And then the AI tells the ad platforms, go find me more people like that. You stop spending money on the generic, broad audience, and you double down on the profitable clone. Your CAC drops because your targeting is mathematically precise.
I see. You're basically cutting all the fat out of the ad spend by using historical revenue data as the compass.
Exactly.
Okay, lever number 3, increase average deal size.
This is the classic do you want fries with that strategy, but aimed at enterprise B2B.
But I'll be honest, the fries with that thing is annoying. I hate it when a salesperson tries to upsell me on something I clearly don't need. It feels super pushy.
And that is the exact difference here. Humans are generally bad at guessing what you actually need in a complex software environment. AI uses predictive cross-sell modeling.
Predictive cross-sell.
Yeah, it analyzes usage patterns across thousands of accounts. Let's say you sell enterprise software. The AI notices that customers who buy Module A and who have more than 50 users logging in daily almost always need Module B within 90 days.
Okay, so it's pure pattern recognition.
It's anticipating needs based on data. So before the customer even realizes they have a bottleneck coming up, the sales rep can reach out and say, hey, based on how your team is scaling right now, you're likely going to run into this specific issue next month. Module B solves that.
That's entirely different. You aren't pushing a product, you're genuinely solving a future problem for them.
Right. And that drives up deal size naturally because it adds actual undeniable value.
It's like the Minority Report of sales, predicting the need before it even happens, which leads perfectly into lever number 4, improve retention and lifetime value.
This is honestly my favorite one because churn is the silent killer of SaaS companies.
Oh, absolutely. And usually by the time a customer actually calls to cancel, it's way too late, right? They've already made the decision. They've probably already bought the competitor's product.
Exactly. Once they say the words, I want to cancel, the relationship is dead. The goal of AI here is churn risk detection. It monitors the health of the account long before the breakup happens.
What are the actual signals it's looking for? Is it just that they stopped logging into the platform?
That's the obvious one, sure.
Yeah.
But AI sees the really subtle stuff.
Like what?
Maybe the executive sponsor of the account stopped logging in, even though the lower-level team is still using it. Maybe the number of support tickets spiked by 20% this month. Or the sentiment score of their emails to your success team dropped from positive to frustrated.
Sentiment scoring on emails, that's intense.
It gets more intense. Maybe they visited the export data page in your app. That is a massive red flag.
Oh yeah, clicking export data is basically packing your bags.
Right. So the AI flags this immediately to the customer success manager and says, account X is at an 80% risk of churn. Intervene today.
Wow.
It gives you a window to save the customer while they are literally still in the building. That protects your lifetime value immensely.
It turns a purely reactive save team into a highly proactive account health team.
Precisely.
Okay, the final lever, accelerate sales velocity.
This is all about speed. Pipeline drag. We've all seen those deals that just sit there in the CRM forever. They aren't dead, but they aren't moving either.
The zombie pipeline.
The zombie pipeline. AI identifies exactly where the friction is in that pipeline. Is it a specific competitor that always slows us down in stage 3? Is it a recurring pricing objection? Is it that a specific sales rep is struggling to close during the negotiation phase?
So it diagnoses the bottleneck?
Yes. And by diagnosing it, you can fix it. Maybe you need to create a better competitor battle card for the team. Maybe that one rep just needs an hour of targeted coaching. You grease the wheels and the cash comes in faster.
So just stepping back for a second, looking at all 5 of these levers, none of these are make a viral video.
No, not even close.
These are all boring, back-end, hardcore financial optimizations.
And that right there is the aha moment of this whole source material. If your AI strategy isn't directly touching one of these 5 things, conversion, CAC, deal size, retention, or velocity, you're just playing with toys. You aren't doing revenue operations.
But here is the catch. To do literally any of this to predict churn, to clone those profitable customers, the AI needs data. And not just superficial web traffic data. It needs to know who actually paid the bills.
You've hit on the absolute hardest part, the execution gap.
Yeah.
The source calls this the shift from a content factory to an intelligence engine. And the non-negotiable prerequisite for that shift is integration.
Integration. That is the word that makes every non-technical founder's eyes just glaze over instantly. It sounds so expensive.
It's totally unsexy. It's tedious, and it is absolutely non-negotiable. The source is very blunt about this. They say, without integration, AI is just a content factory. Think about it. If your AI is just a chat window open in a browser tab, it's completely isolated.
It has no context.
None. It doesn't know who your customers are. It's just guessing in the dark.
So when we say integration here, we mean hooking the brain up to the actual nervous system of the company.
Exactly. You have to connect the AI to your CRM, whether that's Salesforce, HubSpot, whatever you use. You have to connect it to your financial system like Stripe or NetSuite and your attribution tools. The AI has to literally see the money.
See the money?
Yes. If it can't trace a marketing click all the way through the pipeline to a cleared deposit in the bank, it cannot optimize for revenue. It can only optimize for clicks.
That's a really crucial distinction. If the AI is blind to the bank account, it is forced to create vanity metrics by default. It has no other choice.
Correct. And this is exactly why revenue operations is becoming such a massive, critical discipline. It's not just sales ops anymore. It's the entire infrastructure that connects marketing, sales, finance, and data into one single source of truth.
Speaking of truth, let's talk about the one area in business where truth is usually, let's say, highly flexible. Forecasting.
Yes, the end-of-quarter crystal ball exercise.
The source has this incredibly scathing description of how most leadership teams forecast. They call it optimism layered over historical averages.
That line made me laugh out loud because it is so painful. It's so true. It's usually a sales manager sitting in a meeting saying, well, we did $1 million last Q1, and the team feels really pumped up right now, so let's just call it 1.2 million.
That's not math. That's just hope.
Right.
And as the saying goes, hope is not a strategy. So how does AI actually fix this optimism bias?
AI moves you from hope to what they call disciplined predictive modeling. It doesn't care about the sales team's feelings. It deals strictly in probabilities. It looks at thousands of disparate data points all at once.
Like what?
Conversion ratios by specific regions, average sales cycle lengths down to the day, historical seasonality, and even macroeconomic trends in some advanced cases.
So it's basically running massive scenario analyses.
Thousands of them in seconds. It can come to leadership and say, look, based on the fact that your top-of-funnel lead flow dropped 5% last month and your enterprise deal cycle has suddenly lengthened by 12 days, there is a 92% probability you will miss your quarterly target by $200,000.
Wow. That is incredibly sobering.
It's sobering, sure, but it's actionable. It makes the future controllable.
Controllable, because you have time to react.
Exactly. If you know you're going to miss the quarter by 200 grand in month one, you can cut costs today. Or you can spin up a targeted promo today. You aren't just shocked at the end of the quarter when the numbers fall short.
It totally removes the surprise. I really like that. But what happens if you get this wrong? Because the source warns about the risks of misalignment. And they specifically mention something called silent risk, which sounds terrifying. It sounds like carbon monoxide for a business.
It's a brilliant analogy because, just like carbon monoxide, you don't see it until you're already passing out. Silent risk happens when your AI is optimized for the wrong goal, and it creates this invisible feedback loop from hell.
Walk me through that loop. How does a company actually spiral like that?
Okay, imagine you set up your new AI and you tell it, get me more leads at the absolute lowest cost possible. That sounds like a perfectly reasonable business goal.
Sounds super efficient. Everyone wants keeper leads.
Right. But the AI goes out and realizes that, say, college students or casual hobbyists are incredibly cheap to acquire, so it aggressively optimizes your ad spend to target them. Suddenly, your CRM is just flooded with thousands of new leads.
And the marketing dashboard looks amazing. 1.2 million impressions. Lowest CAC ever.
Yeah. Exactly. Champagne time, right?
Yeah.
But then your highly paid sales team starts calling them, and nobody buys because they're students with no budget. But here is where the silent risk kicks in.
How it happens?
The data in your CRM is now deeply contaminated. You have 10,000 junk leads permanently mixed in with your good historical data. Your predictive models are ruined.
Oh, man. And let me guess. Management looks at the pipeline, sees 10,000 new leads, and decides they need to hire 5 new salespeople just to handle the volume.
Boom. That right there is what the source calls flawed capital allocation. You just permanently increased your payroll burn rate by hiring staff to work bad leads, all generated by a misaligned AI. You spent real money chasing fake opportunities.
Wow.
The source is very clear. They warn that AI should reduce risk, not multiply it. If you aren't incredibly careful with your parameters, AI just helps you make terrible business decisions at lightning speed.
That is a literal nightmare scenario. You're basically automating your own bankruptcy. So how do we actually avoid this? The source provides a checklist at the end. The AI alignment scorecard. I always love a good practical checklist.
It's a great practical audit. If you are listening to this right now, you really should pause and ask these exact 5 questions about the AI tools your team is using today.
Let's run through them. Question 1. Is this tied to a measurable revenue KPI?
Right. Not did we get likes, not did we save an hour of typing, but did this specific tool influence actual dollars? If you can't draw a straight line to revenue, be very suspicious.
Okay, question 2. Is it integrated with CRM and pipeline tracking?
We hammered this earlier. If it's not plugged into your system of record, it's a toy. It's an isolated content factory.
Question 3. Does it reduce operational friction?
This one gets overlooked. Is your AI actually making the work easier, or are you just bolting on another piece of software that your team has to log into? Because if it creates more admin work for your sales reps, they just won't use it, period.
True. Question 4. Does it improve forecasting accuracy?
Can you predict next month's revenue better today than you could yesterday? If the answer is no, the AI isn't giving you actual intelligence, it's just giving you data.
And the big one. Question 5. Does it increase profit predictability?
That's the holy grail right there, predictability. In the market, investors pay a massive premium for predictability. If the answer to these 5 questions is mostly no, then your entire AI strategy is likely just vanity.
You're right back to that massive dashboard with the glowing green numbers and the completely empty bank account.
Yep.
It's a pretty harsh reality check, but
Yeah.
honestly, I think it's so necessary right now because there's just so much hype. Everyone feels this immense pressure like they need to do AI immediately or they'll be completely left behind by their competitors.
And that intense fear of missing out is exactly what drives those flawed, fast decisions.
As we wrap up this deep dive, I want to zoom out to the leadership component for a second. Because all this heavy talk about algorithms and data integrations might make it sound like a founder or a CEO can just kick back, flip a switch, and let the machine run the whole company.
The source actually argues the exact opposite of that. There's this really dangerous misconception floating around that AI replaces the need for strong leadership discipline. The reality they point out is that AI magnifies your discipline, or it magnifies your complete lack of it.
So if you have a chaotic, highly disorganized sales process and you add AI on top of it.
You get scaled chaos. You get chaos at the speed of light. AI is fundamentally an accelerator. It accelerates whatever foundation you give it. If you give it a disciplined, strictly revenue-focused strategy, it accelerates your profit. If you give it vanity goals, it just accelerates your distraction.
It really all comes down to that bottom line distinction the source makes near the end. EBITDA versus visibility.
That should be the mantra for every RevOps team. EBITDA, which is your actual tangible profit, versus visibility, which is just your fame. You can choose to be famous, or you can choose to be profitable.
Sometimes you manage both, sure.
Sometimes. But usually, on a day-to-day operational level, you really have to choose which one of those you are actually optimizing your systems for.
The source has this great line, "The future belongs to disciplined operators who treat AI as a profit instrument." I feel like that's the quote every executive needs to print out and tape to their monitor.
It really is. It completely shifts the conversation from this mystical idea that AI is magic to the very grounded reality that AI is simply a tool for financial engineering. And honestly, that's just a much healthier, safer place for a business to be.
Totally agree. So here is the final thought I want to leave you with today. It's a bit of a challenge, really, based on everything we've unpacked from the research.
Let's hear it.
Go back to that mental image of the dashboard we started with, the one with all the applause, the likes, the viral numbers. I want you to look at your own dashboard tomorrow morning, whatever screens you use to run your actual business, and ask yourself a really hard question. Are you building enterprise value, or are you just feeding an ego?
Ouch. That's a sharp one.
The source reminds us that vanity metrics inflate ego, but revenue metrics build enterprise value. So which master are your current AI tools actually serving right now?
That is the multi-million-dollar question.
Definitely something to chew on before you sign off on your next software budget. Thanks for going on this deep dive with us.
Always a pleasure.